The Scream Kings are in no way responsible for any encounters with the paranormal, extraterrestrial abductions, eldritch insanity, hauntings, hexes, curses, demonic possessions, cryptozoological sightings, or any loss of sleep from listening to this podcast.
This is the Scream Kings podcast. I'm Nathaniel Darkish.
I'm Max George.
And I'm NJ Gallegos.
Oh, come on. We don't even know if it's Jack Frost.
No, it's probably some other walking, talking snowman that everybody's podcasting about.
Dear Satan, please help me. Rest my soul in hell for all eternity. I don't know if I'm going to get through this episode, y'all.
Hey, you made it through the movie.
That's fair.
Okay.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back from our holiday vacation.
And we are back with a wonderful, now third-time guest, Brian McAuley.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm psyched to be back again.
Honestly, this is one of our most wildly anticipated episodes.
By the three of you.
Yes. I regret nothing. Actually, well, we'll get to that. But no, we are so excited to have you back. You know, for those of you who maybe need to mentally catch up on previous encounters. First time we had you on, Brian, it was you and me talking New Nightmare and your first book, Curse of the Reaper, which is a delight. And then a little over a year ago, we had you on to talk about your second book, Candy Cain Kills, and mentally scarred Max with watching Jack Frost. And now, appropriately, with the sequel to Candy Cain Kills Again, the second slaying, we had to talk about Jack Frost too.
We absolutely did. And please don't leave off the subtitle.
Yes, Jack Frost 2, Revenge of the Mutant Killer Snowman.
It's important for context.
Yes, very important.
I was telling a friend that tonight's episode was about Jack Frost. I could not remember the subtitle. So I did Jack Frost 2, Blizzard in the Caribbean. And he legit thought, wow, snow in the Caribbean would be pretty scary. It's like, oh dear God, it's so much worse.
That's perfect.
I think it should be Snowman in Paradise, but you know.
Yeah.
Yikes.
So if anyone is a new listener, just tell us a little bit about yourself, Brian, and you know.
Happy to. Hey, I'm Brian McAuley. I am a WJ screenwriter and author of such books previously mentioned, such as Curse of the Reaper, Candy Cain Kills, and now Candy Cain Kills Again, the second slaying.
All of which are amazing and wonderful, and you should go read them.
Thank you so much.
No, thank you. We have a tradition with recurring guests to knight you into the Scream Kingdom, and let you choose a title because, you know, we're the kings, but, you know, pretty much the rest of that kingdom needs some administration. So we're gonna knight you. Do you have a title in mind for what you could be within the kingdom of Screams?
I mean, one of my favorite elements of the Jack Frost franchise is the name of the town in which it is set. So I think that I should be knighted as Sir Brian of Snowmanton.
Yes.
That is too perfect, but also fuck you.
Reachable via the Snowmanton International Airport, as we'll touch on later.
Oh my
Yes.
God. It's already beginning.
Excellent. I think that is the perfect title. May you go down in history as a bloody and gruesome leader.
Thank you.
Okay, well, let's talk a little bit about Candy Cain Kills Again, because I read it recently and I freaking loved it.
Thank you.
I mean, I guess if you want to maybe start with, kind of what is your pitch for the book, either for those who have already read the first Candy Cain, which, I mean, if they've read it, then they probably immediately ran out and bought the sequel, because of course they did. But or just, what's sort of the sales pitch for the Candy Cain duology?
So Candy Cain Kills was involved a family renting a snowy cabin in the woods without realizing the history of 10 years ago, that there was this mysterious Candy Cain killer who murdered a family on Christmas, and the Candy Cain killer comes back. And in the sequel, Candy Cain Kills Again, we now are fully aware of who and what Candy Cain is, and it picks up immediately where the first book left off. So the survivors are headed to the local church to get some answers, and Candy Cain returns for some gruesome punishment on Christmas morning.
Indeed.
Who doesn't love gruesome punishment on Christmas morning?
What other day is there for it?
Exactly.
That's what I always run down the stairs, to check my stocking and what gruesome punishment awaits me.
You run down
in my footy pajamas.
I love religious trauma. It's the best.
It's ripe for exploring, I'm finding, in horror literature, that's for sure.
Seriously.
It's the spice that unites us all.
Mm-hmm.
It's the holy water that binds us to Jack Frost.
No, pass. Tell us more about the book, though, Ryan. What you can, if you don't want to spoil anything.
Yeah, of course. No, it was, thankfully with the first book was enough of a success that Alan at Shortwave was like, do you have any ideas for the sequel if you want to do one? And I knew that it was going to be picking up immediately with the first book left off. I knew it was going to head to church and make that the new setting, but I didn't know much else. And so it was fun to kind of discover along the way some new characters. And the sequel is very much Candy Cain's story, I would say, is the main through line. So giving her character more kind of development and backstory and making her the protagonist was my way of saying, okay, I did the slasher version, but I want to kind of take the slasher from the first book and make her the kind of avenging final girl and see if people go along for that ride. So yeah.
I can't remember if we talked about this, but can you walk us through again kind of your storyboard process for your main character?
Yeah, I'm very much coming from working as a screenwriter for years, outlining is a big part of my process. But the first part of that is using a corkboard and index cards and kind of thinking like, okay, for example, with this book, it was like, I know it's in a church, and I'm a slasher writer, so what are some of the murder set pieces that could fit here, and kind of putting them up on the corkboard and figuring out the character arc that works in between all of those. But yeah, I love outlining, love kind of figuring out the major beats of the story before diving into actually writing the pages.
I hope that with that corkboard with, upsetting kill set pieces that you were like red string between them and
100%. It's the
excellent.
Yeah, the Charlie Day effect of
okay, follow-up question.
Yeah.
What speed bumps or snowballs
Whoa.
did you encounter when writing the sequel? Like, was it easier to write a sequel? Not as easy? More challenging?
Yeah,
sexy?
was there some brain freeze?
Oh my God. You guys are coming out on fire.
It's been 2 months since we've talked to each other, so we're all pent up.
Oh, man. Yeah, I think, it felt definitely kind of high pressure to be writing a sequel. Like, okay, I want to make sure that it delivers. And I think I felt pretty confident amping up the gore and the violence. That's a comfort zone for me, and amping up the body count. And I feel like I got to know the main survival characters pretty well, so that once I dove back in, it was really easy to plug back into them. So I guess the biggest challenge was just with Candy Cain's story and thinking about how much, clarity are we going to get about this backstory, and it became its own kind of subplot, almost like like how Pearl works as a prequel to X, I kind of thought of it as like, okay, well, this will be understanding how this slasher was born and getting more empathy for her. But it took a lot of kind of work to figure out what that entire backstory was.
That's cool. Thanks.
Yeah.
My only qualm was we needed more Fiona.
I know. She definitely stole the show in the first one. And that's a fun thing about sequels, too, is you get to see what people react to and be like, okay, I can kind of take that as my North Star. But she definitely had to share the spotlight a little bit with Candy Cain in this one.
Maybe they can team up for the third one.
I think that's a natural route for part 3.
Put it on the corkboard.
Yeah.
Yeah, so since this is part of the Killer VHS series, I love how the sort of direct-to-video horror vibe of the whole series works, but then especially seeing that coming up with a sequel, it felt really good to see you kind of go bigger and go crazier in that very like slasher sequel way. But it wasn't, like the mediocre slasher sequels that exist out there. Nothing comes to mind. Nothing.
Nothing in particular. Yeah, it's a delicate balance for sure. Kind of writing in that wheelhouse and framework of throwback 80s VHS horror. It has that B movie veneer to it, but also I think the goal of this series is to capture that nostalgic element, but kind of bringing it through to a more modern audience, and also maybe adding a bit more depth. And I think it, seeing the other books that have come out and are on their way from that series, it's just such a fun project to be a part of.
Indeed. Okay. Well, should we pull off the Band-Aid and talk about Jack Frost 2 now?
A Band-Aid? Are you kidding? I'm in a full body cast.
Just rip the carrot nose out and dive in.
That carrot nose worming its way through the sand.
Oh, that's like the best part. No. Okay, so this is Jack Frost 2 Revenge of the Mutant Killer Snowman, directed and written by Michael Cooney, who directed the first film but did not write it. Do we want to try to make sense of this terrible plot? I mean, yeah, I guess that's probably where we need to go. Because this is not, just more Snowmanton, or whatever it was. Snowington?
Snowmanton?
Okay, Snowmanton. I immediately blocked it out because of just how ridiculous the name is. But no, other than the beginning at the Snowmanton airport, we're in Hawaii, baby.
Is that where it is?
I didn't know.
I think it is specifically supposed to be Hawaii.
It certainly feels like the pool at a hotel complex in the Valley of Los Angeles. More than
but also has like its own staff that have like costume party stuff ready to go in 5 minutes, and Captain Fun just there.
It reminded me a little bit of White Lotus.
No, Brian, you shut your damn mouth.
So then I thought it would be called Snow White Lotus.
Okay, I'll give you that one, but only that one.
But the manager of this place is, I don't even know, what would you describe? It's like a colonial British
racist.
Yeah.
I mean,
definitely like British colonial forces from like the late 1800s in India.
Yeah, Yeah, he reminded me of the villain from Jumanji.
And Clayton from Tarzan.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, all
if he wasn't on steroids and My favorite part about him, though, this is Colonel Hickering, right? Is that his unfortunate name?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whenever he talked, he would... make some sort of noise, and I was about ready to throw my phone at my TV.
It's a lot of.
He was my favorite.
Yeah.
Of course, he was your favorite.
Oh man. So
yeah, Nathaniel, keep going with the plot because I'm gonna cry.
okay, so we basically begin with in some secret government lab that has dug up Jack Frost where he was secretly hidden and buried after they put him in antifreeze.
Yes, everyone, you heard that right. That is how this film starts.
Also, can we talk about all those OSHA violations in that lab?
Oh,
Yes.
for sure. Holy cow.
And no, see, this is actually just secretly OSHA propaganda to try to get people to have more safety, because all of those violations result in Jack Frost escaping and being free, and then of course he is swearing revenge on Sheriff Sam from the first film.
Nathaniel, you're forgetting the part, though, where the biochemicals somehow manipulate the ice crystals in Jack Frost, which further give him extra superpowers. And we get a really incredible CGI close-up of what water looks like.
That's true.
That was all of the budget, too. All of that.
All of the budget.
All the
I
green,
think
the
it's like
green
10
food
times
dye.
the budget of the last one, and I'm
No.
sure that's all where it went.
You are kidding.
Maybe not 10, but it was a lot more.
It had more money than the first one?
Yes.
I would have
Jesus
guessed
Christ.
the opposite. Wow.
Yeah, likewise. All right.
Here, I'm gonna Google those in a minute, but yeah. So basically, Sheriff Sam and his wife are going on this island vacation. Yeah, you're right. Like it's not Hawaii, that's for sure, but heaven knows what it is.
And are they renewing their vows?
Well, that's the secret thing that he wants to surprise her with. But they're also going because they're friends, and no one else connected to them. They're getting married. Their friends Joe and Marla, who were annoying side characters in the first one. And so they're all going together, not bringing kids, and go to this all, everything included resort, and, run by Colonel Hickering, straight out of, the late 1800s. And basically, Jack Frost follows them, and
Don't forget about the gaggle of girls. They're like so totally there to relax with guys.
and the gay Asian.
And the gay Asian who's clearly not gay, but he's giving it his all.
taking pictures of, bikini models, and there's, a whole cast of new side characters to make us cringe and die on the inside. And of course, when they get there, it spends a lot of time of setting up Jack actually just returning, reconstituting himself, from the ocean after killing some random guys, including, of all people, Doug Jones,
Yeah.
the incredibly talented actor, which was, I'm sure, just the high point of his career. Chasing this down shortly thereafter, with things like, I don't know, Pan's Labyrinth and things like that. But yeah, so he kills some people, slowly starts making his way through people before people realize, oh, Jack Frost is here, and then they have to try to fight back. But now it seems like Jack Frost is a little bit harder to kill. They can't just, throw the antifreeze at him. There's something about him has changed. Some sort of genetic mutation has occurred.
Don't spoil it yet. We'll get to that because it's bonkers.
Yep.
You might say it's bananas.
No. Wow.
Oh, Nathaniel, we have to talk about some of these ridiculous
Yes.
kills.
Yes, let's do
We
it.
sure do.
I think the first one is somehow Jack Frost turns into a snow anvil and then defies gravity and falls from the sky.
Yep.
What?
And just smashes that head.
It's Looney
And then-
Tunes. Come on.
And then somehow, again, he's in the tree, and you have that girl who's just like, where am I going? And the icicles are just slamming into the sand, and then he uses tongs to rip her eyeballs out.
Yep.
Oh.
And the way that she ended up there was they needed more charcoal for the grill, so she was just collecting just random pieces of charcoal from the sand. And then when the anvil drops and kills her, it cuts back to her friends, and one goes, "Did you hear something?" And the other one says, "She probably just dropped the charcoal."
Oh, and they were getting the charcoal right because those cute boys who maybe said 3 words, and 3 of them were, "Hey, yeah, cool." Anyway, what were some of your favorite kills? Because if I had to say anything good about this film, I think the gore was a lot more developed than the first one. They had some pretty decent kill shots.
Yeah.
For the kind of movie it was.
Well, half of the movie is him killing people and slowly collecting. Like, he gets the carrot after killing Doug Jones because they're on a raft in the middle of the ocean with a with a cooler in which allegedly was a candy bar and a carrot, as one does when one is preparing a day trip.
And Sailor is really mad that candy bar is gone, but carrot is left.
Yeah. So he gets his carrot and kills them. I think he just drowns one and then stabs Doug Jones with a...
Yeah, he shoots a icicle through the boat.
Yeah.
I hate that I know that.
And then he gets his charcoal, but then he gets his scarf from the photo shoot kill scene.
Mm-hmm.
Which is upsetting.
Yeah, a little rapey.
A little. I found it kind of funny, even though it's problematic, but that's because I'm like a 12-year-old boy.
I liked, was it at the beginning, the giant sheet of glass that jammed into someone's neck? When was that?
Oh, in the lab, right?
I think so, yeah. So that was right at the beginning, and I said, okay, that's where we're at. In the first 5 minutes.
I really liked the girl who obviously has to take her top off to go swimming at the budget hotel in maybe Hawaii.
And it's the only Pacific Islander character.
Only.
And was also being real sneaky about it, uh-oh, my boobs are out. I'm gonna go swim. Uh-oh,
time
my
to
boobs.
do the breaststroke. But how he froze the top of the pool a sheet of ice. I quite liked that. I found it claustrophobic and it did it for me, but maybe it was also the boobs. I don't know.
Yeah, that was actually an upsetting kill, I thought.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, freezing to death like that would be very terrifying. Especially with it freezing all around her first.
And then, when things couldn't get better, Jack Frost has babies.
Yep.
Sure does. I think that's where the budget must have gone.
Not that those were convincing in any conceivable way.
They were like Gremlins meets Critters meets a snow globe.
Yep.
Meets the sock in the back of your drawer that you use for a sock puppet to keep your 2-year-old happy.
Okay, I thought you were going somewhere completely different.
Yeah, me too.
No.
All right, I'm tapping out now. You sicko, you and your boobs. So we have the snowballs in the prose. Who put that there? And please explain.
I mean, okay, so the idea... So I put it there. So the idea of him, if it was him splitting into a bunch of little ones and they're all, kind of having his personality, that would have actually been kind of interesting. If he can reconstitute himself in different ways, why couldn't he split himself? That kind of thing could have been a clever idea. They could have done something interesting with it. but instead it just turned into like the worst knockoff of Gremlins or Critters you've ever seen. But like, as if they just, but like half the time it was just a snowball with teeth, just not even animated in any way, just sitting there by someone, and then they just like slowly look at it in horror.
I was convinced that they were styrofoam balls at one point.
A few of them definitely were.
For sure. But what about...
The best part about them was when the little one was hatched for the first time. And everyone was like, oh, how cute.
Yep.
And it was, Dada, Dada, die.
Kill Dada.
Yeah. There was that touching moment, though, when Jack is holding the dying snow baby, and a tear falls from his eyes, and it really ups the stakes for his hero's journey. I felt it's the dark night of the soul.
It was.
Uh-huh.
I mean, he almost went through the whole like save the cat, thing just right there. Yeah. The single tear going down, and then suddenly, you killed my family.
I did like when he traps. What's interesting, I will give it this. This is a good twist that I enjoyed. Was that our main character from the first one, Sam, just totally loses it at a certain point and becomes absolutely ineffectual, and his wife becomes the main character. Then I was like, that's fun. Like he just becomes like a blubbering idiot, and she has to kind of take charge.
Yeah, he goes like catatonic. He doesn't do anything. Yeah, now that you say that, I can give another little nugget of goodness for that.
And when then she gets trapped in like the box of snow walls, I was like, oh, that's also kind of scary and claustrophobic when the icicles start coming through.
Yeah, that wasn't the worst.
It wasn't the best.
I mean, you have to take what you can out of this movie.
No, you all forced it down my throat. What else did we like about the film?
That it was short.
See, I thought it was a bit long.
I thought it was long too.
I mean, 93 minutes. Let's just say it could have been worse. It could have been longer.
That's true.
I thought Agent Manners was was a choice, and I liked that the sound effect that happened every time he appeared was one from Arrested Development, of like the
Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, the fact that they recast him, and because he had to have kind of like facial reconstruction surgery after Jack Frost bit his face in the first one.
Oh man, yeah, that like ridiculous explanation just made me actually laugh. I'm like, okay, you know what, you got me there.
And it was entirely coincidental that he is on the island, right? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Because that makes sense.
Hey, it was just a crazy random happenstance. Those happened.
Was he like the security, like head of security or something for
I
the
think
island?
so, yeah.
Yeah.
I thought that was Captain Happy or Captain I'm an Idiot. What was his?
Now he's like the director of like activities.
Are you talking about Captain Fun?
Yeah, wasn't he an undercover agent too?
Yeah, but he like is like his lackey.
Oh.
He's Agent Manners' lackey.
Okay.
What I say?
Oh yes, good chap.
Oh man.
My favorite thing about the movie is in our show notes, the fourth bullet point down just says boobs. So thanks, NJ, for that. And maybe the rest of you, who knows?
Let's be real.
I mean,
it's
it's just a nice little payoff. You know, you're like, oh, I wasn't expecting that. Thank you.
Yep.
Should we move on to the cons?
I don't know what you're talking about, but sure.
I mean, it was a perfect masterpiece. So with this movie, they definitely were going for bad on purpose, right? Like,
Were they?
yes.
I think so. I think they leaned into it.
Yeah.
Well, so
so.
I have done some research about
yes,
this.
yes.
Heaven help me. And basically, with the first movie, it was originally intended to be just like a serious, like half decent slasher, but then it kept losing money and losing names, and it and they kept like making the whole script simpler and simpler and simpler. Like at one point, the original movie was supposed to be directed by like a big name director. I don't remember who it was. And it was going to have like Gina Davis in it.
Whoa.
Oh, thank God she got out of that.
And instead, they went and made Cutthroat Island, which was a giant dud of a pirate movie in terms of box office numbers, but still, I'm sure better than Jack Frost. But so it was intended to be actually much more big budget, much more serious in its approach. But then after things had just got cut down to nothing, they eventually just kind of went to some people who were working on it more in, I think, the production capacity, and were like, I mean, we can either scrap this or we could try to make it for super cheap. And they're like, here, let's try to make it for super cheap. And that's kind of what they were doing, is they had a better script, but then they had to keep like simplifying things and reducing it because they just simply could not make that movie with the $500,000 that they had to make it, which explains a lot of the choices in that first one. The second time, they had a much larger budget, and really they only made it because the first one was that kind of weird rental hit. But it had actually been a few years since the first movie had been made, but only a year since it had been released. It was in hell for like 4 years before they finally got someone to release it. And so the second one, it was very much them trying to replicate the cheesiness that they kind of leaned into in the first one, but it was more about having to try to make the best movie they could with the insane constraints that they had. And with this, it was, they had more money and stuff, but they did have a studio calling the shots, which they didn't the first time around. And also, we're trying to kind of replicate the feel of the first one. And so, they were leaning into the cheesy jokes more and all of that, even though it is kind of forced. So they made it worse on purpose.
I respect that.
Yeah, they worked with what they had. And it's interesting to think, again, as I was talking about earlier, with when you get to see how people react to the first one before making the second one in that case. And so it sounds like they saw that people were reacting to the campy, silly parts, and they leaned into it real hard in this one, but kind of mashing up different tones and different subgenres, but pulling colonial British hunters from the wild. But
but Hawaii
or whatever.
I would love to see that brainstorming session.
I know. There's an email out there that says, "Hey guys, I have an idea. What do you think?" And then someone responding, probably to all, "I love it."
It reminds me of the like Gremlins 2
Key and Peele sketch
thing from Key and Peele. Yeah. Oh, so good.
I think this movie is actually an allegory for climate change, and
Okay, shut up. Go straight to hell. I think it actually ponders the religious trauma that we all experience. Okay, I'm just gonna get it all out there, okay? I hated the acting, the effects, and the plot. It was unbearable, and it was far too long.
just gonna burn through the bullet points, huh?
The side characters, the couple that they went on, I could not stand them at all.
They were pretty bad.
So bad. Christopher Allport, I think, was probably the best actor. He was our lead.
Yeah.
He's in a sitcom that's pretty funny. In the Middle, I believe, is what it's called. You guys know how I feel on this, so you should say the cons, and I'll just sprinkle my negativity in. I did this for you, Brian.
Such a martyr.
I know. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, I guess this is where we can touch on the sort of twist of how.
Oh God.
First of all, how did Jack Frost find them, and then how do they defeat him? Is all kind of rolled into one twist, which was that in the first one, the sheriff's blood mixed into Jack's DNA, so they are connected. So that's why Jack was able to hunt him down. And then also, the sheriff is allergic to bananas, which means that Jack Frost's kryptonite is bananas.
And the ending moment where they pull the bow and arrow, and instead of an arrow, it's a banana.
That's
Perfection.
I mean, the blenders with the bananas, and then them running around with the super soaker was also pretty good.
Came so close to vomiting at all the bananas in the blender, and then what the banana goop looked like when they were like spraying it on people. It was kind of like Ghostbusters 2 when they're spraying the pink slime, but it was just a thick yellow
viscous.
So I have a confession. Father, may I? I skipped forward maybe 2 minutes when they were figuring out the whole banana thing. How did they realize that the bananas were the kryptonite? Because I was not going to rewind after I saw that it was bananas.
She threw a drink on one of the little snowman balls, and it like burned it like acid, and then she turned to the bartender and was like, "What's in this?" And he's like, "Hey man, it's just rum and bananas, man."
Oh, God.
I thought he was going to be like, "What? We've been put in the antifreeze."
Yeah, right.
I don't know what that accent was. Sorry, it was
That
bad.
was, we are in Transylvania now. Oh, Lord. Okay, so it was a ridiculous moment as well.
Would
of
we
course
have it
it's
any other way?
There's an island, so there's clearly a plentiful amount of bananas.
Yeah, anything else would be bananas. That is the correct response. I was hoping someone would just cough. Yeah, I'll have to say, we've mentioned some other side characters being bad, but Captain Fun made me want to die on the inside whenever he showed up on screen.
That first time, that was a lot. Was a lot.
I don't remember how he gets killed, but I will say I appreciated that there was just a big like massacre scene at one point in the bar where people are just getting icicles shot through them, and when he punches that dude through the wall, that was pretty good.
Please take the wheel. What else is bad, guys? Because I can do it. MJ, what did you not like about it? We haven't heard from you yet.
I just thought they could do better fake snow.
Yeah.
It just looked like they painted the sand white, and then we're just kind of like, all right. And then they had styrofoam snowballs. Let's see. Let me check my notes out.
I stumbled.
Oh, so I
stumbled.
go ahead.
I accidentally stumbled upon a fun fact because I was looking up Agent Manners to see what else. Well, first I was like, wait, is it the same actor from the first? And it is not. But the same year that this movie came out, do you know what film he was also in? Castaway.
What?
Wait.
He played Wilson.
So the current timeline that we have is Castaway and Jack Frost 2, Blizzard in the Caribbean, are being filmed or
Yeah,
are
maybe on the
happening
same
at
island,
time.
just so that he could be in both of them, you know?
He takes off his eye patch, runs over to the castaway.
And then, like, Tom Hanks is
That
talking to
blows my
Wilson,
mind.
but it's actually a little snowball, and he's like, this isn't our prop.
Frankly, that'd be a much funner movie.
Yeah, for real. Let's find a multiverse where that exists.
I also it's terrible, but I loved it whenever Jack Frost dives into the snow to leave. He's like, adios.
And then he melts like that old Capri Sun commercial where the body just turns into fake water. Oh,
I was just gonna
like
say.
Alex Mack.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my god.
So yes, that is honestly the best thing is when he just dives in. But do you want to know some other interesting facts about this
Absolutely.
compelling masterpiece?
I don't think we have a choice.
Excellent. So apparently they wanted it to even look brighter and more tropical and stuff, but for whatever reason the universe decided that much like with the first film and how they had zero snow when they were supposed to have snow, as soon as they got to this actual island, wherever it was they filmed, it immediately was just bad weather, stormy, the whole time, and so they all had to just be like, oh, okay, we get outside shots every once in a great while. So basically, whenever it would be sunny, they'd all have to run outside, do a shot, and then run back in, and then it would be stormy again.
Why does this not surprise me?
And then
I would say I'd watch it again to see if I could tell them, to see if I could tell that they were running outside and winded or whatnot, but that will never happen.
Yeah, the reason for the subtitle "Revenge of the Mutant Killer Snowman" was specifically just to make sure that people didn't mistake it for the Michael Keaton Jack Frost sequel. I mean, yeah, and notoriously, people would switch out the tapes between the two Jack Frosts for fun at all the rental places. But yeah, this was the way that they tried to kind of counteract that a little bit. Oh god, what else did I learn?
Is it true there was a trilogy in mind?
Yes, they did have a third one in mind, and I don't know if you got to the post-credit sequence or mid-credit sequence.
Oh,
or
you mean
whatever.
Jackzilla?
But that was going to be the plot.
No.
Yes, so it ends with this Godzilla pastiche of Japanese sailors, and suddenly they see something emerge from the water, and Jackzilla! It was going to be that one of those sailors, 10 years later, having survived the trauma of that event out in the ocean, is now trying to has overcome that, and then suddenly Jackzilla attacks Tokyo or something, and then it was going to have lots of sequences of him attacking a building and then filling the whole building with snow and stuff like that.
I'm sure it would have been very tasteful and not at all offensive.
I'm sure it would have been just very thoughtful of all the culture around Godzilla, coming from the bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki and all of that. That, I'm sure it would have been only taste.
Uh-huh.
Would you like to know a fun fact?
Yes.
The two guys on the boat that were stranded with the carrot and the candy bar?
Mm-hmm.
A carrot would actually be a good choice because it has vitamin C and that will prevent scurvy.
Hey!
That's good to know.
Fact.
You're welcome. That's why they limes and stuff. That's why they would take limes with them and call them limeys, because they wouldn't get scurvy.
Why didn't they call them carroties?
Well, I don't think they keep as well.
That's fair. I know zero fun facts about this film, so.
Yeah. My other gripe, my only other gripe, because this movie is obviously a masterpiece, is they did some tropes that I'm not a big fan of. with, getting impaled by an icicle and immediately you start coughing up blood. Like, people don't really cough up blood that much. They really don't.
Unless you have dysentery and you need to cough prettily into a hanky, a hanky, and then look sad.
And then
hide it.
The music shifts, and we know, but no one else.
What about
knows.
if you eat some ice cubes of Jack Frost DNA? He can explode your head.
Oh.
Yeah.
That shit'll kill you.
That's what I
we
thought.
learned that in
Okay.
medical school. Yes. Yeah.
If you guys just saw that red explosion off on the horizon, that's me.
Did you guys know that this also had a VHS lenticular cover that looked sweet smiley snowman versus scary snowman with a snowball with teeth in front of him?
I feel like it was trying to do like the alien mouth within a mouth thing, right? At least that.
Yeah, I think that's specifically what they were going for, but it does not look convincing at all.
Did you guys think that antifreeze looked really good too?
Oh yeah, it looks delicious. Looks like purple drank.
Yeah, like that ecto cooler.
Yeah.
Oh dang!
Yeah.
Now I want some antifreeze.
Yeah. And you know what? You can actually drink antifreeze, and then if you drink alcohol, because alcohol is the antidote for antifreeze.
Oh.
So yeah.
Well, I'm gonna start keeping it in a little flask around my neck.
I would.
Partially just to remind him of the good times with this.
Yep.
Let's make a new kind of cocktail called the Jack Frost 2.
Just drink antifreeze and die.
And bananas.
And like banana liqueur.
Ooh.
Revenge of the Mutant Killer cocktail.
Oh, that was good. I like you again,
All right,
Brian.
I'm gonna tap out before this goes downhill.
Clearly, that needs to be a thing at like StokerCon or other horror cons.
Except instead of antifreeze, we use something healthy and safe.
Yeah.
Boring.
Nerd.
All right, we're really done.
Okay, does anyone else have to weigh in on any of this? What about the post credit sequence that is just the annoying side characters froze or stuck in the freezer?
I didn't watch the.
Yeah, the ones that are getting married or whatever. That's what it had, is them still just being like, guys, can you let us
oh my
out?
God.
Yeah, as soon as those credits rolled,
they definitely died there.
Yeah,
huh?
same.
Yep, we can hope. All right. Okay, let's rate this thing. Screams. I'm giving it a -1. I was somehow the opposite of scared.
Also, -1 here, and to a surprise of no one.
You're so hateful.
I'm MJ, and I give it an 8.
I'm never gonna sleep again.
You don't understand true horror.
I'm a doctor.
I give it a 1, just because I thought some of the gore was decent. We didn't mention the frat guy that put his tongue to the pole, and then Jack Frost rips
Oh
him
yeah,
off
that
the
was pretty
pole.
grody. Not gonna
Yeah,
lie.
that one I audibly gasped.
But we need context there, because it was the two boys. Yeah, my bear's called. Stick her tongue on the pole, and then I'll pour the beer, and it will get cold again.
It was the most romantic gesture I've ever seen.
I mean, what's gayer than licking a pole?
Well, someone else pours beer all over it.
Yeah, I went with the
Oh,
1.
Lord.
The pool death I thought was just approaching scary, so gotta give it to him for that.
Fair. All right, Crowns. How good is this movie? Max.
I I was trying to think of something less than a negative number. So what I came up with is 0 divided by 0 itself.
Oh.
So I will not be watching this ever again. Unless there's some sort of event and we have to show up for marketing or whatnot. What have you. But I will not be quiet.
Not
I'm
be
gonna
happy.
complain the
It
whole
looks
time.
like 2 snowballs to me on the spreadsheet, so.
Oh.
Yeah. Immediately changes it. All right. I'm gonna give it a 2. I had a worse time than the first one, which I think I gave a 3. So not a good movie. Not even like the usual like bad movie fun that I usually have. It occasionally dipped into that, but it was more just bad in the bad way. And you know, and there wasn't even a Riff Tracks version out there, so we all had to raw dog this. Ugh, it was bad.
I gave it a 2.5, and
I saw. Oh, I thought. Oh wait, I'm calling Brian out for changing from a 3 to a 2.
I thought that I wanted to be generous, but, you know.
Sorry to interrupt, NJ.
I'm rounding mine up to a 3 because, and I have to admit I can't objectively separate how much joy it brings me to just watch your mental health suffer. So some of that colors this, but I'll be honest, I thought this one was funnier than the first one.
No.
I did.
Wow.
Madness.
I know.
I went with the 3 and then turned it into a 2. I have such fond memories of the first one that I wanted to really give this one the benefit of the doubt, but it just was not nearly as fun for me. But it had a little bit of nostalgia of just reminding me of the first one, so that's where the 2 points come from.
That's fair.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, really the thing that kept me going on this one was just knowing that Max was going to have to watch it after me.
I sensed your suffering in the Force, and it pleased me.
I turned to the dark side after it, so I'm sure you felt that.
Give in to your anger. Okay, so I did have like one extra discussion thing, which I wanted to throw this at you guys. What's the best direct-to-video horror?
Ooh.
Especially if you can pull from the VHS era, because I am struggling too.
So I looked this up because I was like, what has gone straight to VHS? And the one that stood out to me was The Reanimator, but I wasn't even alive when it came out, so I don't know if I can claim it necessarily.
I didn't know it was straight to DVD, but I think, Nathaniel, you put Autopsy of Jane Doe.
I didn't put that one down, but that one does just like that. That movie rules. Yeah.
I looked it up.
I love that one.
Yeah, it's a good one.
I just pulled a list real quick, and there's one called Hell's Highway that I also really enjoyed. It's kind of an anthology of a few different horror stories all within a road. Not in a road, on the road. Apology. But I'm not sure I know any others.
I'm looking to see if the one I'm thinking of was direct to DVD. Nope, never mind. What was... Well, I can just share that I watched a movie over the weekend and looked it up to see, and it was the first direct to DVD or direct to VHS sequel, and that was Leprechaun 3. And that's the one where he goes to Vegas, which is perfect. And yeah, I was just gonna say, now my new goal is to write a St. Paddy's Day slasher and make you watch all the Leprechaun movies.
Oh my god, do it.
Especially Leprechaun 6,
Yep.
Back to the Hood.
Yes.
or the one that he
Yep.
goes to space. Oh man, there is something going on out in my living room. Fun.
Just put on Leprechaun 3 for them. They'll chill out.
Yeah, apparently. Yeah, like there's a number of movies that I've seen that were direct to video, but none of them were good. Like Ice Cream Man, the Children of the Corn sequels, like 2 and 3 are absolutely hilarious.
3 especially is actually great. I just watched that recently.
Yeah, it's bananas.
The answer is no.
But yeah, I mean, like, you know, a lot of the cheap sequels that were getting turned out. I mean, like the Tremors sequels. Aren't
Tremors
terrible.
2 Aftershocks. I will go to bat for. It's good stuff.
Clearly, Ghoulies 3, Ghoulies Go to College is a standout thing there.
The answer is no. God. Someone save me. If anyone is listening, please come save me from these movies.
Or Amityville 1992, It's About Time.
Oh, God.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, VHS era, not great examples, other than, you know, a handful of like, oh, well, that's actually a pretty good sequel here and there. You know, since then, I think, you know, with getting into DVD and then especially with streaming, you know, straight to video kind of has shifted. So yeah, Autopsy of Jane Doe, incredible. Poughkeepsie Tapes was straight to DVD, and like that one is one of the most upsetting movies I've ever seen.
Likewise.
I don't know if it's good, but it got under my skin. It was effective.
There we go.
But I don't ever want to watch it again.
I'm seeing that Ticks was direct to video, and that's a banger. I gotta recommend that one for creature feature body horror, starring Carlton from Fresh Prince.
Heck yes. But yeah, it's just wanted to know if there was secretly some great gem in especially the VHS era, but it doesn't seem like it. Seems like Jack Frost was actually cream of the crop, unfortunately. All right, so how is everyone staying spooky these days?
I can go first. I put down originally, I went and saw Nosferatu, but I feel like we owe an entire episode to that one, so I changed it. There is a movie called Apartment 7A.
The Rosemary's Baby
I've heard of it, but I
prequel.
haven't looked into it.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I went into it thinking just that. This is just going to be a Rosemary's Baby, but revamped. And it is actually really effective. They do a very good job of making it different enough that it feels like its own story, but it's very clearly Rosemary's Baby. But in particular, the way they portray the devil, it was one of the few times where a demon has made me kind of quiver in not a fun sexy way.
Yeah, we had to add that qualifier there for sure.
I mean, we all know Rosemary's Baby, where she gets, unfortunately, raped by, essentially, Satan, right? And the way they portray that scene with the devil is, very, very good. Completely different than what you'd think. And then I just finished the book yesterday, American Predator by Maureen Callahan. It is about Israel Keys, the serial killer that nobody knows about.
Oh, I've read that, yeah.
He was a serial killer who got a start in Texas, moved to Washington, and his modus operandi was psycho. He had no MO, so he would go be prowling, and if he found someone he wanted to kill, he would kill him. And the other spooky thing is he would travel all throughout the country and bury these kill caches that had like guns and knives and rope and zip ties, so that if he was in one of those cities, he would have everything he needed without transporting it, which is gross. And he was arrested in 2012, ended up committing suicide in jail, but he was caught. His last kill, confirmed kill, was a poor young girl working at a coffee shop late at night. And you can watch this all on YouTube. It's horrifying. But he comes up to the counter and like just drags her out of the coffee shop.
That was in
Alaska.
Yeah. Okay.
So, and then he takes her back to his shed in the back of his house while his daughter and his wife are sleeping in the house. And then goes on a cruise for the next 2 weeks. Comes back and does the nasty things to her. Kills her and then posts her dead picture, but he puts makeup on her and he stitches her eyes open to convince her father to give up with the ransom. Whoa. Like, the guy's nuts. Yeah.
I feel like I watched something about this.
Yeah, he's been my hyper-focus lately just because of how disturbed he is. I've been listening to some of the police interviews on another podcast, and I had to turn it off. I'm making some bread, and I couldn't, which says something. So
yeah, no, I remember reading that book, and it was much more harrowing than most true crime is, and that's saying something.
Yeah.
Whew.
So I finished, and now I'm on to a missing child's case, because why not keep it light and breezy?
Like you do.
How about you, Nathaniel?
I have been staying spooky by listening to a delightful book, Fever House by Keith Rawson. Rosan, I might have just butchered the pronunciation of his last name, but he is great. Met Keith at StokerCon last year, and was just a super nice guy. And so yeah, finally got around to checking out this book. It's basically some enforcers for a local loan shark go and beat up a guy who owes their boss some money and find a hand in the fridge, and it seems like something about this hand just makes you want to do bad things, and bad things ensue. It's really cool.
Huh. That sounds interesting.
And I guess the other staying spooky thing is that NJ and I recently sold a short story that'll be in an anthology later this year.
That's awesome.
Congrats!
Oh, thanks.
I think I already told you guys congrats, but congrats again!
Thank you.
Yes.
It features VHS tapes, believe it or not.
That's awesome.
Ooh.
Indeed. All right.
I
Brian, how are you staying
am
spooky?
currently reading Clive Barker's Books of Blood. Yeah.
Brian.
Nice.
It has
that's one of my
been
favorites
such a
from
great
him.
experience. I don't know how I never got around to it, but I'm in volume
far into
3.
it
I
are
only
you?
have two stories left. So yeah,
Okay.
they've all. Yep,
So you've
Midnight Meat
done the
Train,
Midnight
Pig's
Meat
Blood
Train.
Blues. I loved.
Yes.
That
Yeah.
story
In the Hills, the Cities.
was one of the most incredible reading experiences I've ever had, which I know sounds like hyperbole, but I was reading that story just like, how is he doing this?
That story is pure nightmare fuel.
Because he is Jesus, and I love him. And Clive Barker, if you're listening,
Yes.
please be on our show.
What if he decides to be on the show?
Yeah.
But he's like, only if we do Jack Frost 3.
I would do it for him. I think my favorite is just the Book of Blood, the first one. Just the imagery of like the words being etched into your skin just got to me. But the hillside, in the hills and the cities is
it's really
horror perfection.
It's great to see from one story to the other how he kind of has a different vibe and but still kind of a through line of like, this is very Clive Barker.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Just as an aside, the Midnight Meat Train movie from like 20 years ago, really good.
I saw it way
Like,
back when it
shockingly
came
good.
out, so I need to rewatch it now that I've actually read the story.
Yeah, it's got Bradley Cooper.
And Vinnie Jones, we love.
Yeah.
I know there's
yes.
there's a Rawhead Rex
doesn't
movie
like
from the
a
80s that
meat
is
train?
not supposed to be good, but now I want to watch it.
NJ, talk to us.
Yeah. First, don't you think Midnight
Yes.
Train sounds like a porn name?
That's 1,000% a porn name.
All
A
right.
gay one, because Clive Barker.
Obviously. So yeah,
I want to
wanted
ride that midnight meat train. Okay, I'm done.
Wanna ride it? I am staying spooky. I'm reading a book called The Color of Blood by Mona Kabani. And it's about an artist who essentially finds their victims because he can almost see like auras, and he can see kind of like what colors their like blood and their organs and stuff will make, and he kills these people and uses their bodies and whatnot for his art, as you do, you know. And it's kind of sexy, you know. It's totally normal.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
I wrote a book like that once.
A sexy book?
No, more of the artist painting with people's blood kind of thing. But yeah, sure. I mean, I guess, you know, I'm not going to yuck anyone's yum, but I wasn't going for sexy with mine.
Talk about bleeding for your art.
The last pun of the show.
He demanded.
Welcome to the Thunderdome.
I know I give you a lot of grief, Brian, but you're so fun to have on.
Max, you're like a cat that you're like, I love you. No, I hate you. No, I love you. No, I hate you.
1,000%. Why am I a cat person? Goodness. Anything else we want to drop on the show?
Well, just where can people go get Candy Cane and all of your other
anywhere
excellent work?
books are sold. I recommend getting the Candy Cane books directly from Shortwave Books. They send some fun packaging and other goodies. And then be on the lookout for, in March, I have a story in an anthology called Punk Goes Horror. So I wrote a horror story inspired by Dashboard Confessional Screaming Infidelities. And then I have a story and an essay coming in the Poison Soup anthology later this year. And my next novel from Poison Pen Press is coming September 2nd. And that's a slasher murder mystery set at a wellness retreat called Breathe In, Bleed Out.
Ooh.
Puns abound. Yeah.
Sounds fun.
Clearly.
We love a pun, clearly.
Excellent. Okay, well, I guess, definitely go check out all of those things. We'll have to maybe have you back yet again to talk about some of your other work once those things drop, because you're always a delight, and we're out of Jack Frost movies, so maybe Max will approve having
I
you back.
can't wait to find something that will be equally upsetting.
I think I need to make you all suffer through like some dense occult movie and make you all question your insanity or sanity. Excuse me.
That sounds like a great time.
Yeah, I never
Bring it
question
on.
my
All right.
insanity.
Cool. I'll find one.
That's true.
Yeah. That's the sane thing to do.
My insanity has firm footing. Okay, well,
All right, everyone, stay spooky.
Stay
Stay
spooky.
spooky.
Stay spooky.